So here's my question. Would you like to know the month, day, and year you could be debt free?
Yes, except I'm about to sell it and be debt free,
Okay.
even
All right.
sooner.
So what are you going
But
to
if worst case scenario, yes.
what are you going to do? Are you going to start renting after that, or are you going to get another house?
Well, I'm going to move in with my mom. I'm going to relocate to North Carolina. I spent half of last year there taking care of her and helping her recover from cancer. And
Right.
now she still has some neuropathy left, even though she improved.
Yes.
So I'm going to move in with her. And then I have a second home about 5 minutes from hers that was so badly damaged by hurricanes. I had 3 contractors that year say it wasn't worth saving. But last spring, another one told me when he looked around inside of it that it is, because it's not black mold that's spread in it.
Right. You know what's happening now. Because of there's not enough inventory, it now will pay you to fix it. It's worth a lot more.
Ask another question. My next question was going to be, should I prioritize more paying off my sky high credit card debt? I know I have to pay off the IRS about $20,000. I have about over $71,000 in credit card debt.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. I know that's crazy. But should I prioritize paying off my debts first and foremost? But then I won't have enough probably to tear down and rebuild or even fix up.
Okay,
the other one, my second home.
Here, Deanna,
or should I pay off some? Yes.
Here's what you want to think about. The reason why we pay off debt is not so that we can see a zero balance. The reason why we pay off debt is make sure that we can save the maximum amount of interest. So when I look at a high interest rate, I don't look at interest rate. I look at what is the cost of the interest in dollars and cents. Okay. I'm going to give you a quick example, and I'm going to use your mortgage as an example here. We're going to go back up to payment number 1. I had a young couple who had $1,200, okay, $1,200 on a 12% credit card, and they paid that credit card off every month. That was only $1,200 at 12%. They said, ooh, that's high interest when my mortgage is only around, 4%, right? And so I want to pay that off, but your program is telling us to ignore it. I said, well, let's do a little math. At 12% interest on $1,200, here's what's happening. 12% a year means 1% a month. They're being charged 1% every month. You follow?
Yes.
And after a year, that's 12%. So if they pay off that $1,200 credit card this month, congratulations, you saved yourself $12 in interest you did not have to pay. Now, when people really find out how much the interest cost is, it's not quite so bad, is it? When you know what the cost is. $1,200 on your mortgage at the beginning would have saved over $4,000 in interest. So don't look at interest rate, look at interest cost, and you'll make good decisions on which loan to attack. Now, our program does all the math for you and says you need to pay this off in this sequence with this much money to get the biggest bang for your buck. So you're killing the maximum amount of interest that you can. What you're talking about is something that's so complicated. Do you realize that if you have just 5 debts, there are 120 different ways to pay that off? And one of them is the best way out of 120 different ways to do it. If you have 10 debts, did you realize there are 3.6 million different ways to pay it off, and only one of them is optimum?
That sounds crazy.
I know.
Especially when I think about how many I have.
Exactly. So you're trying to find out the best way to do something, and we keep hearing about a rule of thumb, pay the highest interest rate first, or do this first, or do that. No, it's way more complicated than that. What we're talking about now is factorial math. You can look it up. Factorial math. When you know how many variables there are, then you can figure out how many different ways to line those variables up so that you can get the best result. And I can show you here. I'm going to put it on the screen here. I'm going to go into Google and I'm going to put 10 exclamation point. 10 exclamation point means 10 factorial. 10 factorial tells us that it's 3,628,800 800 different ways to line your debt up to find out the most efficient way to pay it off. And only one of them is the most efficient. I'm just asking, do you really want to put that kind of time into it?
No.
Let our computers do it for you. Just go to ice10k.com and click on the button that says get a savings and earnings report. The button is at the top of the screen. And then put all your information in. And then someone from my staff will contact you and set up a consultation. And we'll tell you the month, day, and year you can be debt free on all of your debt. And we're going to give you a track to run on and say, this is the loan this month. This is the loan 3 months from now. And we're going to direct you as to how much to put on each loan to maximize your interest savings. It is that difficult. And our program does all of the math for you while you're sleeping.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.